Good morning, good afternoon, and good night, and welcome to the Amateur Otaku Podcast. How's everybody doing out there? I am Brandon Alvarado, the Scarlet Fan here, and I'm so happy to be back to talk awesome anime content with you guys. Um, it's been a while. Life has been crazy, but I'm really happy to say that I'm back here for this special episode of the Amateur Otaku. And as always, you guys know I don't talk anime by myself looking in the mirror at the wall, except on Fridays. But most of the times when I talk awesome anime live or recording, I do it with my good friend, the one and only, the seven wielder of the Punster sword, Isaac.
Hello.
I feel that I tried to make your name work, and it was so hard to not laugh in the process. But I think I
I
made it
felt
to the
that.
other side.
Yeah, I thought it would fit considering today's subject.
That is, I don't know how you take the. You know what? You're amazing, Isaac. You're amazing.
I, Thank you. I came up on that on the spot.
Oh my god. So as you guys know, um, here at the Amateur Taku, we talk asset anime contact. Isaac and our good friend Mike Thomas have been doing an awesome job in covering My Hero Academia. Isaac and
Together
I
with
will.
Leo.
Oh, awesome! And Leo from Geekly Goods, awesome. Have been doing an awesome job of covering My Hero Academia. Isaac and I will return very soon with our coverage of The World Ends With You. But there's a big event that happened recently in on Netflix on a movie series that we've been covering since the last of the first three came out, which is the movie series based on the Rurouni Kenshin series, which of course I'm telling you that we're not only doing this because we have 6,000 likes that we do not understand on YouTube, but we are doing this because it is one of the better anime adaptations. We started this show with our coverage of the phenomenal anime adaptation of Alita Battle Angel Alita, and which was co-produced by Kirk by James Cameron and directed by Robert Rodriguez, starring what was the name of the actress that played um, Alita? Can't believe I forgot her
Oh,
name.
Rose. Oh, no, I'm putting a blank on me.
Man,
Rosa
she was
Salazar.
amazing. Rosa Salazar, which was amazing. Great supporting cast: Christoph Waltz, Mahershala Ali, so many people. So we started our show with that. So we do want to. We always like to come in and talk about live action adaptations from time to time. I know we still owe you one on Erased, but that is coming. But when we heard that the fourth installment, which is considered the final installment of the Rurouni Kenshin movies, we thought it'd be ideal for us to make time to talk about it. This movie came out last Friday, was it, Isaac? It's rather recent.
I can't. Rather recently, I can't remember exactly when.
Yeah, and the most interesting thing about this is that it covers the final arc of the manga, which, in my understanding, um, it was a animated arc that came out a lot later after the original release of the anime, if not on the reboot version of the anime. Um, but it covers the final arc that is one of the most personal arcs in the entire series. Isaac, I think we should just jump right in, and because people that want to hear our thoughts should go to our very little popular video on YouTube and find out our thoughts on the first three movies. But let's jump right in. We're going to talk about Rurouni Kenshin, the final. I do not know who directed this movie because I do not believe in paper. Okay, Rurouni Kenshin, the final, was directed by Keiichi Otomo, and it's starring the great and phenomenal Takeru Sato as Kenshin, and then you have all these other characters. Because let's start with that. how amazing is this dude to be able to embrace all the qualities of this character, and to a degree, like I gotta admit, I think it has to do with the tone of the movie overall. Like you can feel the cheese kind of pouring out of the edges. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it feels like you have, it's like cheese is being held in. It's not coming out, but it's being like they're holding back the cheese, but the cheese is there. Um, but even so, I think the way Takeru carries the character of Kenshin throughout the first three movies, and especially throughout this one, is a pretty amazing job. Like I feel that we couldn't have asked for a better actor to do Kenshin. What do you think?
I mean, just to context, this is a manga that Brandon and anime has watched. I'm just going in sort of blind because I haven't seen slash read either. So I'm going in from a live action only perspective. Let's remember that. But from that standpoint, I think the actor fits the character extremely well, based on what I've seen. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I think he does a great way of balancing all the cheesy cartoonish elements of him. Like whenever he goes oro or whatever, like this very anime-ish, cartoonish. Um, all the seriousness. Whenever the Batosai kind of comes out, and then just the moments of profound sadness that are found throughout the series. That I think this is like the biggest one, that where you see a lot more of the sadness that he carries, the guilt that he carries, and the reason for all the guilt that he carries, which is what makes I think the movie pretty interesting. And I don't want to say that this is a perfect film because it's not, because it does have some moments where it kind of lulls out. But when it comes to the action, when it comes to the blade work and choreography, when it comes to the the crux of the plot, like the main points of the plot, and the revelations that we get from Kenshin's past and all that stuff, I think it's pretty. I think they hit a home run. I think it's a great way to seal
Yeah.
it. There were so many ways that this could go wrong. It could have been the worst entry, and it wasn't. And you know what I mean? Like, there's always this, like, it's not like Sharknado was doomed from the start. So there's no way that there's an
that
entry that
that
was going to
movie
be
was
better.
that movie. Those movies are created to be bad, though.
No, correct. But like this movie was far from a train wreck. It was greatly done. The quality, I would say, it was improved from the last. And I'm happy
It's
that we're talking about it.
it's fun. It's fun because excuse me. It's funny when I started this movie on Netflix. I didn't realize that the automatic choice was the English option and not the Japanese option. So I thought for a second that they were talking English in the beginning, as in the original actors. And then more and more came out, oh, this is dub, because you can clearly see how it's not synced with the character's lips and all that. I'm just, no, I'm
That's
switching to the original language. This
Yep.
doesn't even work.
Now let's
I
take a
mean,
moment. Let's take a moment and talk about that. One of the things I think Netflix has done extremely well, mainly with their original stuff, but I think you see it a lot also with a lot of the animes that they get licenses to be able to put on the show on to put on the streaming service, is that I think they're one of those few providers that provides the most translations and dubs. There are so many. You can watch it in five different languages, and you can listen to it and read it in five different languages,
yeah,
which I think it's phenomenal. I
yeah,
think Netflix, being the worldwide phenomenon that it is, has taken advantage of the international market. And I think the fact that you're able to watch movies like this in so many different languages opens the door for many people to discover it, and I love it. Like I listen to this podcast, and they talk about how they found, like, there's this show, this Norwegian show called Ragnarok that I want to watch now. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's a lot of cool stuff out there, and like Netflix is kind of blurring the lines or eliminating the divide between English only and other stuff. Like people are beginning to wander to other sides of the world because they're able to change the translations and are able to listen in their own language or something that is closest to it. So kudos to you. Well done, Netflix. Well done. I mean,
And
the,
speaking of Netflix, there is a show that I feel that we should cover that recently put on Netflix. It's called The Way of the House Husband. 5 episodes
oh,
short.
that's supposed to be very good.
Yeah, I watched that before. Before me and before I did the episode of My Hero Academia, which, as of this recording, should be up yesterday. And and I suggest we cover it one day because, well, it's only 5 episodes. It's not that long.
Nice.
It's extremely funny.
We have to do it. We have to do it. There's nothing like a yakuza that cleans dishes. Um, so let's talk about the movie, Isaac. Since you're the one coming from the outside, and I have a little bit of background with this, um, you put it on, you watched it. What did you take from it? What are your thoughts on Rurouni Kenshin, the final?
Well, first and foremost, the action choreography in this one makes John Wick looks like a child play in comparison.
Oh
I
my
was,
god!
I mean, let me find that tweet because I wrote that tweet while I'm watching. We're watching it. Where the fight choreography in the live action Rurouni Kenshin makes John Wick looks like child play. Are they humans or are they machine? Confused smile, and I have to. I stand by that because there were some scenes I just, Jesus, wow, how are you even able to do stuff like that? Because it's so fast and fast and
Furious. I'm sorry.
is
I'm sorry.
fluid. Uh, is ha ha ha, and uh, I wouldn't say fluid considering it's live action, but it's just extremely fast paced uh, and there's moments that I'm just. There's probably some virus involved, but even then, what the hell?
Yeah,
If you
it
know what I mean.
looks, the choreography looks ridiculously spot on, like it's something that's happening in front of you. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I think when you look at the hand to hand combat, like the whole sequence in the dojo when Anishi comes in and kind of kicks everyone's ass. Which, by the way, there's a lot of montages of him kicking everyone's ass, which is kind of funny. Um, but and but it's all the choreography that has to do with swords. Like all the sword play, it's it's, I don't want to say it's groundbreaking, but it's awesome because the speed that you would imagine from like high end martial arts movies like Flashpoint or Ip Man, you're seeing it with samurai katanas, and you don't miss a beat, and it's not, and like there's few edits, like there's edits there, but there's no edit that interrupts the fluidity of the battle. Does that make sense? Like
Yeah.
everything just flows and looks so good. And for those that know about film, which I'm not a film director or anything, I know that a lot of those things are filmed a lot slower and they're accelerated to a degree for it to create the effect, but it looks like it should, especially when you consider the anime that it comes from. So I'm really satisfied and happy that they were able to capture that. throughout the series. And I like how throughout the series, because if I'm not mistaken, they did the first film first. Based on their reaction, they did the second two movies, which is Kyoto Inferno and what's the third one? Um, I don't remember. But they did the two and the third, the second and third, and after a couple of years of a break, they did this one. You can see how the action choreography has gotten progressively better, and and I like also like the little things that they do where when it becomes like in slow motion out of nowhere and then it keeps going in speed, like the touches and the delicacy of how they want to present the action is actually pretty awesome. So I do have to agree with you 100%. Um, apart from the action, story wise, because I know you're very big on character drama, and I think more than the previous films, this one is more of a character drama. What were your
Yeah,
thoughts?
which is which is why I actually which is this why this is my personal favorite of the four we have covered,
Nice.
actually, because it is more personal and it is more, like you said, character drama and all that. Don't get me wrong, the three other movies are good. I would probably have, and based on your reaction, I would probably enjoy them even more, yeah, if I read the manga slash watched the anime. But it's I can look at the movie as a whole and say that this movie is good, and just imagine that this isn't based on anything. I mean, like that. If you look at it as a
Yeah,
whole,
yeah. Even
the
yeah, like
series
this is
as
an original. Even if this were an original work, yeah, I got you. It looks good.
yeah, and
Yeah,
it's just a whole personal, and it's uh, it's sort of like you. How should I put it? It's sort of like now I can't remember the whole what I was thinking about, but yeah, when I judge judge these movies in particular, it's sort of like the whole world ends with you. I haven't played the game, but I watch it as a anime only
yeah,
watcher,
yeah.
and from a live action movie only watcher, I think you can enjoy them pretty well, even if you
Hmm.
haven't watched. Although I need to, although with one exception, I need to ask. You know the guy with the sandals later down the line in the movie,
The guy with the sandals. Oh,
the one,
Sojiro.
yeah, they
The
were
one,
we
the one, the
introduced.
one, the one that was part of Shishio's clan first.
Are we
The young.
introduced to him in one of the movies? Because I can't recall that character.
You're talking about the kid that was kind of hired to kill Kenshin and then kind of joins him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's Sojiro. He's the one. He is Chishio's right hand. So on the second movie, he's the one that fights against Kenshin and breaks Kenshin's sword.
Oh, oh, that guy, that guy.
And then he's the one, and he's also the one that Kenshin fights before Chishio on the boat at the end,
Yeah.
which is where
That guy.
like yeah, that on this other end, he Kenshin breaks his sword. And I actually enjoyed that he came back at it because in the beginning when I saw him come back, I was like, what the hell is going on? But then the reason he came back and how they used, I like how, okay, before we, because there's gonna be some spoilers, guys. So um spoilers ahead possibly. Spoilers, spoilers, spoilers. Spoilers, spoilers. Say the word, Isaac. Say it.
Spoilers, spoilers, spoilers.
So there might be spoilers. And yes, singular. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, so um but I like how he plays a role to the plot, and to and I like how they used him not as a one off, but how they intertwined him with Kenshin's story, which was a good surprise for me because um is this one is not about Saito, it's not about Shinigami, it's not about Ayoshi, it's not about Sanosuke. This movie is 110% about Kenshin. And that's why I liked it. And that's why I loved it. Because the previous movies have to do with who Kenshin was, what he did, but what his actions brought to Japan, right? And but this particular movie has to do what his actions brought upon his own life. You know what I mean? Like, this is not about the drama about the Meiji era. This has nothing to do, like, it all bottoms down to his story, how his actions affected his life, how his actions are affecting other people's lives. So it makes it a very personal story and very heartbreaking too. Um, and I liked how you're giving enough flashbacks not to be drawn to the past, but but you get enough to move forward. But I like how the movie doubled down on the fact that it's not about this movie's not about Kenshin drowning in his past. This movie is how Kenshin finds a way to move on. And I found that pretty poetic. What do you think?
Yeah, and that's that, that's probably one of the reasons that I really like this movie I because it's sort of sure I have I'm far from the same situation with him, but I have stuff that I uh, need to move on from, so to speak, and something that is very hard for me to move on from, that and I can sympathize with him of that, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And I like how we're introduced to his story, everything that happened with his ex-wife, how Carter reacts to it. But I like how in the beginning Kenshin would have just run away from everybody, but in the movie he doesn't. He just kind of like takes his space, but he comes back to them because you can see that he has grown to recognize them as his family. Because in the beginning, he would have just been the wanderer that he's always been. You know what I mean? There's no reason why he would need to stay. He would just walk away, you know? But because he values his family, because he needs to protect them, he kind of, this is like the first time that you see him opening up to them. Like, he's finally at that point where he can talk about his past and how he finds it necessary to talk about his past, because of the role that these people play on his life. And I do also find the villain role of Anishi, apart from the fact that the actor did a great job, even though he brought most of the cheese. There's a lot of cheese in his role. Um, I really liked him as a villain. Um, Apart from the fact that he's amazing in the choreographies, um, I like how his is also a story of moving on. Like how, and you have a good script to a degree when you have a central theme that most characters are able to follow. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
Kenshin's moving on, Anishi's moving on, Kaoru's moving on. Because you find a lot of characters that in different parts of their life, they're they're like stagnant in one place. You know what I mean? Like Kaoru,
yeah,
to a degree, never moved forward to kind of let Kenshin that she loves him. Kenshin never moved forward with Kaoru, and Nishi never moved forward from Tomoe's death. Um, I would even say that Misao never moved beyond Aoshi's shadow, and she finally does in this movie. So I like how those themes are carried out throughout the film, and it's done very, very well. Um, but what a great portrayal of heartbreak! Like to think that Kenshin has been through this much, and I don't know, man, it's crazy.
To be such a goofball, yet being through that much, then well, you can argue that he how should I put it? That maybe he you can argue that sort of like no, I can't recall one. You defense mechanism, if you know
Yeah,
what I'm saying.
yeah. No, and the interesting thing is you got to think about it. He's actually maybe like what 30 now. He's not that old because he started being the Batosai at 14.
Yeah.
So he's probably maybe in his 30s now, and so he's been through a lot in his entire life. Now, this is just me, and I want to say this as a good thing, not as a bad thing. But one of the things that I found good about the film is that one, they changed the ending to Kenshin's story. That's one. And two, the movie's done, the characters are so I enjoy the characters so much, and I love how they treated the story so much and the character of Anichi that I did not miss one of Anichi's battle angles that you see in the manga. I didn't miss it in the movie,
I don't know the context, so I don't really know what
which is
they're
why I'm going to
talking.
share it. Which is why I'm going to share it. So in the manga or in the anime, Kenshin dies after the battle with Anichi,
Oh,
and he dies because his wounds throughout the years have had his body develop gangrene because he's
uh,
had so many wounds in his body that his body can no longer recover, so he gets sick, and he technically pretty much dies in Kaoru's arms. That's like the ending of his story. There's actually an anime movie called Revelation where it kind of like retells a lot of the Anishi arc and retells a final arc with Kenshin, and like that's kind of like where it ends. Like after and it's a good death because he dies peacefully with Kaoru, but it's like because like he couldn't escape all the lives he took, and his body couldn't escape the toll that it's taken. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But I kind of like the fact that he does get his happy ending. But the other thing that, if I'm not mistaken, that would have been interesting to see, but the movie's good, so I don't care about it right now, is that one of the angles of Anishi is that he's also a master of the Hiten Mitsurugi style, which is the same style that Kenshin uses.
I wonder why they didn't apply that for the.
Because it would require additional backstory time.
Okay, fair enough.
And they would have had to make the fight, they would have had to make the angle of the fight
Yeah,
that be the angle that they're both using the same style. You know what I mean? But I
yeah.
like how I kind of like the fact that they kind of did that. The fact that they didn't do that, I feel that it had to do with the fact that we in throughout the series we've already seen what two Hita Mitsurugi masters looked like because
Good point.
we got that time with his master who's a dick. So we got that time with them, and that was pretty awesome. So to reintroduce a villain, to bring a new villain, that's kind of like refreshing that trope of them being equals to a degree. I like the fact that they just focus on the fact that he was a vicious swordsman, even more so than Shishio, because Shishio was just a megalomaniac. You know what I mean? And he had the whole fire thing. I like that Inichi is more like this amazing swordsman filled with rage. Apart from the fact that he has awesome style, um, rocking he's ro- he's rocking them glasses. Um, but yeah, guys, I think it's safe to say that the amateur otaku 100% thinks that you should watch this movie. If
Yeah,
you if
and
you if you go ahead,
yeah, and I link the video for older videos in the
yeah,
description down below, and an end card if you missed.
yeah. So I do want to say this: if you guys want to watch the first three, if I'm not mistaken, if you have a Funimation Now subscription, they're all available there. You can actually watch them in Funimation Now. You can watch the first three Rurouni Kenshin movies, and then jump into Netflix to watch the final. That being said, I'm really looking forward to Netflix releasing Rurouni Kenshin: The Beginning, which apparently now we know why the all the flashbacks that we saw in the final were so well directed, because they're probably taken from the movie that they filmed right with it.
Yeah,
Because
here in Sweden, at least, the I just checked. Here in Sweden, at least, the three first movies are on Netflix.
nice, so you can watch all four on Netflix.
Yeah, I just double
Nice.
checked. Maybe it's on Netflix also in the US. I don't know, but
No,
thought I can
Netflix
mention
only
it. But
has. Let me see. That's a good question. I think Netflix in the US only has the final, and I think that has to do with the licensing rights, because I think that Funimation has the rights to it, so that's why it's not there. Yeah, the only one on Netflix is the last one.
yeah, but here in Sweden and probably other countries that Funimation isn't available. Those are Netflix
Very
probably
nice.
have those. I thought I
Very,
could
very nice.
check it out for those that want to watch it.
Nice. Nice. So there you go, guys. Netflix International has all four by the looks of it. Funimation Now has the first three, and the final is on Netflix. I wouldn't be surprised if whenever Rurouni Kenshin: The Beginning comes out, me and Isaac will do another video, but I wouldn't be surprised if it comes out on Netflix. So I'm really excited and hoping that that happens and we're able to talk about it very, very soon. But if you've never seen Rurouni Kenshin, the anime, watch the movies. They're awesome. If you want to get excited beforehand, watch the anime and you'll see how awesome the anime is and how awesome and amazing and greatly the movies depict the anime, because it is very, very good. It is that good. I would even say it's one of my favorite, if not my favorite adaptation. Not that I don't love Alita, because Alita is phenomenal, but the fact that they were able to bring this character to life with so much practical effects is groundbreaking to me.
Yeah.
So that's what I like about it a lot. So also I do want to say, um, I wanted to say one more thing and I forgot. Isaac, I forgot a lot of things. I was saying something else, but yes, watch Kenshin. Is there anything else you want to add, bro?
No, I have, like I said, as it is recording in the latest episode of the My Hero Academia should be up by then, and we also have something planned for the 50 subs celebration, so to speak, which should we don't know when it's gonna up, but when it does, it's going to be glorious and hilarious.
Oh my god. So, guys, thank you so much for joining us on the Amateur Taku. Um, I'm the Scarlet Fan. You can find me on Twitter at the Scarlet Fan 52, and you can find me on Instagram at the Scarlet Fan 52 as well. Isaac, where can we find you, brother?
Well, you can find me over at Emblemaniac on Twitter, and you can find my work at Wobum Entertainment. And did you say our pod's Twitter?
I just put it on there.
Yeah,
You can
okay, good.
find the Amateur Taku Pod at Amateur Taku Pod on Twitter, and you can check out our YouTube channel where we have ever coming content from animes that are going on right now and anime films and stuff like this one. Have it awesome,
And we
guys.
promised, we're not just a My Hero Academia channel.
Yeah. Have it awesome, guys. We will see you soon. Bye bye.
Peace.